Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your mother's brother and your grandmother's good-looking son and your grandmother's good-looking son, EJ Always. Let's just take a chill pill for a minute. Information has come out that is damaging to a young man. And although we don't want to victim shame anyone, the way the situation is going down, while I understand while Queen Kee Kee may want to take her time in putting information out or what have you, and it may be therapeutic just to even talk about it, the way you're going about it isn't beneficial. And by that I mean it's giving people a chance to run with a whole group of narratives, giving people an opportunity to draw these lines in the sand on where they stand. People are speaking from their own experiences. A lot of young women speak from experience of being sexually assaulted, speaking of being raped, speak of being molested, and this occurs in a lot of young women. So when they're speaking or they're talking about this scenario, you can hear the pain in their tweets, in the social media, Instagram. You can hear the pain in their two-dimensional text. What we don't want to lose sight on is that we need proof. Just because there's an accusation, no matter how emotional that accusation is, it's been proven that that can be false. It's also been proven that they can very well be true. And since that's the case, I don't think this is a situation where Queen Kee Kee, I don't think that the young lady should sit on the information. You should release those receipts. You should release that information, because another young man's credibility is on the line here, as far as his career, as far as his brand, his value, his reputation, his character. He has children. This type of situation could put his children at risk through child protective services and all type of things. So when you think about these variables, and don't get me wrong, I'm not protecting or in defense of anyone, because I don't have a side yet. I'm just presenting information. But what I do know is that the way you're presenting it is more adhere to shock value than it is to actually seeking justice. If you want justice, you need to come forth with everything that you have that states your case and presents your case to the public. I've heard people speak from ignorance about cases and how certain people should be arrested based on what she's saying, and it's not necessarily true. There's a news article where there's almost 250,000 backlog of rape kits that have not been processed. When prosecutors, detectives are processing what cases they're going to prosecute, a lot of times they're basing these on variables like, did the victim know the person who's accused? Was there forcible entry? Was there any bruising? Did the victim fight back? And if there isn't these variables in the case, a lot of times they won't prosecute the case. They won't try to get a kit moved up or give it precedent, based on those, unless they feel like it's cut and dry. And that's more about a ratio of how these things get prosecuted than it is about justice. So that, with that being said, we don't know if it's a case of that she's going through the correct channels and it's taking a long time, because if they're saying that this happened a year ago or less than a year ago or somewhere around that time, the legal system doesn't work a lot of times the way we think it should. I was speaking of something on my last broadcast, on the WAVEGANG radio broadcast, of Daryl Yancey, and someone actually put up a link showing that he had been arrested and set on an $85,000 bond. But what they didn't know, that he had already posted bond. He's been out for the last 2 years. He's been in the hospital more than he's been in jail. And so he still is awaiting trial. He hasn't pleaded out. And as far as I know, he's not he's not in the penitentiary yet, even though there is DNA proof by his blood-born children that he was actually a sex offender. So a lot of times, I don't know, well, excuse me, I don't know if her frustration is in that it's taken a long time. I don't know if her frustration is that they're not prosecuting. I don't know if the frustration is that they looked at whatever she's calling evidence and said that she doesn't have a case. We don't actually know what it is. So although I understand that women of the BRC are upset and should be highly upset because they've been in situations that have put their lives at risk, put them in harm's way, and dehumanize them as women. But let's not just put our experience on this moment as far as, well, because I experienced this must be what she's going through, or because this is what I experienced, I know she's lying. Let's not do that. Let's not separate ourselves. Let's sit and wait for the information to come out. And we'll glean that information like we always do, especially here on this channel. We'll figure out, we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll see who's actually telling the truth, and we won't pull any punches. If Math Hoffa is doing the things that she accused him of, we'll address that. If she is not telling the truth, we'll address that. If the truth, and by the truth, I don't mean his truth or her truth, I mean the objective truth, which means what actually happened, is probably somewhere in the middle. And we might not ever get to that objective truth, but we will be able to draw conclusions based on the evidence that we receive or what comes out. But what I do know, that, young lady, you have, the onus is on you to produce this information. In claims of extraordinary claims, where you say someone did something to you or you claim something that has happened, the burden of proof is not on the person being accused. And I'm sorry if anybody doesn't feel that way, but the burden of proof is on someone making the extraordinary claim. You know, nothing that we know as far as the battle rap community about Math Hoffa's past, you know, as far as what is generally known, suggests that he's a rapist or is out here pushing himself on women. Nothing that we know suggests that. So if you're making this extraordinary claim, it's up to you to produce information that will back up your claim. And if you don't, what you're just creating is a divisive narrative that will actually put people against each other who don't even need to be against each other. If this is a scenario that really happened, we need to address this issue because y'all put it out there and go forward with it. And if it's a scenario that didn't happen, we need to address that as well. But the main thing is we need documentation, we need proof. It's not enough for you to just say the things. I know it may be therapeutic if it did happen, but at the same time, we're in the middle of this. You put us in the middle of this. If these things aren't true, Math Hoffa should sue you. Libel, slander, you put it in print, you put it on video, it's in audio. You defamed his name. So at this point, the only way that you cannot be liable for defamation, for libel or slander, is that you have to prove what you're saying is true. I don't even know what to hope for in this outcome. You know, you can't, on one regard, hope that the young lady isn't lying, and you can't hope that she is. Like, I don't even know. It's so crazy. But this was a one bone blah blah I just got going. But as a community, let's not get separated. Let's not draw lines in the sand before we actually have all the facts. Let's not, you know, unfollow friends that we've known for years and talked about battle rap with and talked about life. And, you know, although I do agree with DME at a point that someone that you text with isn't someone that you know, but you still have relationships with these people. You know, if you've texted them, if you've talked to them, social media, video conference, Zoom, what have you, if you've talked to them, you have a relationship with these people. And although you might not know anyone or what they do behind closed doors, you do have a relationship. So let's not throw away relationships because we want to forecast our hurt or forecast our experience on the situation. And also, let's not say things that'll be divisive towards one another. Let's find out the facts. Let the facts play out how they do. But once again, subscribe to the channel. We're always going to be trying to, you know, keep you updated on the latest battle rap info, battle rap reviews, interviews, all that. Salute to the Wave. Shout out Pretty Money, Smoking NY. Subscribe to their channels. Polo Mr. Subwords. All those who support gun-toting Democrat, BBTV, Reed Jones, Pyru Pancakes, all you guys that support, we appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's much love. I'm out.
EJ, always. EJ, always. EJ, always. EJ, always. EJ, always. EJ, always. Always. Representing that wave gang. EJ, always. EJ, always. EJ, always. EJ, always.
You are now rocking with
DJ Ladybug.
On the ones and twos, and just call me Monty on everything. Y'all know what it is.